the Select Board meeting for March 9th, 2015. First on the agenda is our organizational meeting to organize. First on the organization meeting is to appoint a chair. What is your pleasure?
I nominate Lexa.
I second it.
I didn't get a chance to ask. If
All in
there's any
favor, say
other
aye.
Nominations.
Aye.
Done deal, isn't it?
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next is to appoint a vice chair. It's Paul Frazier. What is your pleasure?
So moved. I nominate Paul Frazier.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's see, transfer station supervisor. That is
Me.
Judy Flower? Oh, sorry.
I move
Judy
that-
Flower's the current.
I move that Judy continue being transfer station
Second.
supervisor.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we usually have an alternate for the transfer station.
I nominate Lou.
I never heard of this alternate thing before.
We're making
Yeah,
these up.
I was the alternate.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Oh, you were?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't-
Andy was the alternate. We have a.
You can be now.
Well, I thought that you two, because you're connected to the,
I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
because he was
me too.
gone.
Who wants to be, who would like to be the alternate? I'm gonna let you find out.
I volunteer.
All right.
I think Andy's got a huge job with the health officer, so.
Okay, do you mind, Andy, if Lou
No.
is the alternate?
Do
Okay.
you, I'll email them and have them take my name off the email list.
No, we're not talking about, we
Not
wouldn't
the health
talk-
Oh,
officer.
that's
You're
it.
still
That's
health-
right. Oh,
You're
okay.
health officer. This is just the alternate
Oh,
for
no.
transfer station.
not when you saw the waste you're talking about?
Does it tie into that, or that's two different things?
I thought it was
When-
two different things.
Okay,
Right,
I'll leave
yes,
it
it's
alone.
two different things.
I'll leave
Wyndham
it.
Solid Waste is another item.
That's how I got involved with it, was going down there.
Okay.
Yeah. This is the transfer station,
Okay.
Yeah.
so this is Lou.
Yeah.
Okay, we had a motion for Lou. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Sheriff's liaison is
Lexa.
me. What is your pleasure?
Nominate Lexa.
Any other nominations? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Road Commissioner is Paul Frazier. What is your pleasure?
Paul Frazier.
Sure, pleasure's the right word for that.
You want to do it?
I'm into it. I don't mind.
Okay,
Unless you'd like to.
do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Do you,
Yeah, go.
is that okay?
That's-
Yeah, oh, no, that's okay. Yeah, I figure I'm already in gear.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, Wyndham Solid Waste.
That's-
I'll be happy to do it another year.
Okay.
Nominate Lou.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
That was fast. Really quick. Okay,
I had to think about it for,
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Okay, next we need to set our regular
Oh,
meeting.
hold on,
Oops, I'm
As
sorry.
always, we do need an
We do
alternate.
need an alternate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, what is your pleasure for an alternate?
Judy, did you have a chance to think about what we talked about?
Yeah, I really would like to find out where Andy is around that.
I was just somewhat involved, but if you would like to get more involved because you're the transfer station supervisor, is that something you're interested in? If you're not, I'd stay. I read on it, keep up with it, but I haven't been going to the meetings because I sometimes am wrapped up in, or most of the time, on another Thursday night thing, but not always.
Yeah, the alternate doesn't require going to all the meetings.
Well,
It's mostly to go when I don't go, but I go to all of them.
Yeah, right, it's
So,
your chair.
It's,
So if Andy's in tune with it all,
I'd stay with it if, unless Judy wants to do it.
Well, I think there's a plus in the fact that I am the transfer person, but I feel like I took the transfer station away from you when you
Oh, no.
had it originally, and I don't want to do that now.
No, that just made sense because the health officer position can get really busy, which I'll talk about later tonight
Yeah.
maybe. But no, I'd be fine with, if you wanted to
To take it.
incorporate that into your,
Yeah, well, actually, it would keep me certainly up on what's going on in terms of all of the new solid waste stuff.
as it pertains to the health officer.
No, no,
Oh,
at the.
Wyndham Solid Waste.
Solid
Well, her
waste,
role
yeah.
as a transfer
Right.
station
Yeah.
supervisor, yeah.
Yeah. Because some of the stuff I'm going to talk about tonight is stuff that we have to really start deciding, and I suspect they've already talked about that down at Wyndham Solid Waste, so I guess if it's all right with you, I certainly don't want to
no, it's
get
fine.
in your way. Okay.
Okay, so do we have a motion for,
I will move that we accept Judy's invitation to let us accept her.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Just a reminder, Lexi, you gotta send a letter to the district.
That's right, I think I have a copy to send to them, I have to fill it out. Next is to set our regular meetings. Our meetings are going to be set, if it's agreeable with everybody, the second and fourth Monday of each month, starting at 7 o'clock, being held at the town office building meeting room.
So move.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, newspaper of record is the Brattleboro Reformer. We've had good luck with them in getting all our ads out when necessary. Does
I
any-
move that we retain the Brattleboro Reformer as our record, public record. Is that
Yep,
what it's
newspaper of
called?
record.
Newspaper record.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Next, we have the appointments. First one, they're one-year appointments. Fence viewers, we have Stephen Clark, Peter Anderson, Arnold Young. Do we want to appoint those three again?
Yes.
Oh, if they're all willing, why not?
They haven't said anything.
They do
so-
have some nice evenings, just kind of sitting along the fence and,
Fence viewers. Animal control officer is Rob Willis right now, he's first constable,
Yes.
and I believe he wants to
Continue
do
that.
that again. The surveyor of wood, lumber, and wares of coal, that's vacant. Would you like that job?
This will teach you how to go for a meeting.
I'm good right now, thanks. Appreciate you all.
That's one of those old things from way back that hasn't been taken out of the statutes, but that's a vacant one. Tree warden is Ben Williams, and he was interested in being on the
Yep.
tree warden again. Cemetery commission, sextons rather, we have East Jamaica Cemetery, Bruce Chapin, Village Cemetery, which the Village Cemetery is a private cemetery, so we really don't appoint him for that one. I don't know why it's in there. That's funded by
Well,
private
he is
people.
president of that group, but yeah,
Does he?
yeah.
So that really shouldn't be there. We don't
Right.
appoint him for that one because they have their own bylaws. South Wyndham is Bruce Chapin. West Jamaica is Brian Chapin. South Hill is Brian Chapin. Pikes Falls is Brian Chapin. Rossendale is Nelson Coleman. And I haven't heard from anyone, so we'll just put them on again. Town Service Officer is Paul Frazier. His term ends April 14th, 2015. Paul's been in contact with all the services that are available for people very nicely. Paul, are you willing to do that again?
Sure.
Okay. Health officer, well, yours doesn't expire to 2016, so you're still health officer. You don't get a choice.
Yes.
And your deputy health officer is Joel Beckwith, I
As far
believe,
as
and
I
that's,
know.
and his is good until 2017.
Right.
How long is Paul's in his town service office?
Service officer, April 14th.
Is it a 1 year?
1 year, it's a 1-year term, every April.
Isn't that funny, that comes up at this odd time, isn't it?
So that's 2016?
15 this year, but it,
So that he only goes a couple of months?
no, it starts April 1st, April
When do it-
14th, I'm sorry, it starts April 14th. His goes from April to April.
I'm still good for another month. And then-
And a year after that.
And
Yeah.
the health officer is 9/30/16. But the deputy health officer is 3/31/17.
Right, he came
It's
along.
it's very confusing. But I'll give you the numbers later if you want. Emergency management coordinator is Paul Frazier. Paul Frazier, are you willing to do that again?
Yes.
Okay. Next is Rescue Inc. representative for the town of Jamaica. I called and left a message with Stuart Barker to get in touch with me to see if he wants to be on or on. I didn't hear from him, so he's on.
Right.
Energy coordinator is Chris Clark. Do we want to leave Chris Clark on? I asked him if he wanted to do that. He said yes. It's one of those jobs that,
Yep.
it's just a
Sounds
name
good to
only.
me.
It's just a name only.
He knows the job.
Floodplain zoning administrator, we talked to Valerie because she really wanted to give it up. But we need some more conversation with her on a project that she may have started or wanted to start. So I'd like to put a hold on the floodplain zoning administrator until we get some more information from her. And then we can do that at another meeting, if that's agreeable with everybody.
Yeah, I think that's some questions. need to be
There's
clarified.
questions we need to ask her because she said she would, but she really didn't want to.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make somebody do a job that they really don't want to do.
Would be ashamed to lose her though, she's so knowledgeable.
And Wyndham Regional Commission,
We didn't
that's
say we let him
vacant.
leave.
That's vacant right now. I'm going to be coming to the Planning Commission meeting next week, and I will ask if any one of those would like to be on the Wyndham Regional Commissioner. If not, I will put out signs again and see if anybody's interested. That's a hard one to fill.
Yeah, it's a
tough.
hard one to fill.
Planning Commission, Commissioners, Zoning Board of Adjustments, Beta, Sarah Bassett, Peter Hayward, Greg Momans, David Mink, and Cortland Wood, and they're all on now, and they all still want to be on, so we'll leave them as is. Recreation Committee, you have Carrie Lane, Julie Olson, Charlie Pearson, Caroline Person, Tom Tolbert, Becky Tolbert, and Matt Winkler. And I haven't heard from anybody, so I believe they're still on that committee, so we can leave them. Beautification Committee for the village, Karen Amadon and Joe Dumas, and I believe they leave them on. Pikes Falls Committee, Ralph Coleman, Glenn Gibson, Toby Schwartz, Clara Robinson. Haven't heard anything different, so they're on. Let's see, Justice of the Peace, they're on until 2017, so we don't have to appoint them. They were elected positions. I don't know why they're in here, just for information, I believe. Fire Warden is Stuart Barker. This is good until 6/16. Assistant Fire Warden is Joe Beckwith, who Stuart would pick out. 911 Coordinator is Erica Bowman, and I believe she wants that job again. She's been doing a good job at it. Town Hall Committee. I'm not quite sure who's on the Town Hall Committee, so I have to get back to that one.
I don't think they're for sure.
I'm not
I
quite
think you're
sure,
right
so
there, yeah.
this one is the question. So let me get some more information on that, see if I can find out anything, and we'll get back with that one, and also with the floodplain. Old Home Day Committee is Ben Campbell, Charles Eberhardt, Rob Litchfield, Tom Morris, G. Morrison, Micah Nahas, Kelly Ross, and Bob Stone. Kelly Ross, she doesn't live here anymore, so I'm going to cross her off and just leave the other ones. Council on Aging is Alice Abraham. I haven't had a chance to ask her, but I know she enjoys doing that, and I think she'll stay
She does
on
like
that.
that.
That's it for that. Okay, so that ends our organizational meeting. And we will go right into our regular meeting. Let's see, we need to review the minutes from the February 23rd meeting, please.
Select person's present, I wasn't here.
Yeah. I take it as something actually,
You are here in spirit.
Yeah.
Hence our spiritual advisor has put you in. You see
There we
the
go.
connection here?
Yes, I do now.
That's good.
Of course, the word "two" didn't get put in there.
They could be using some.
Are there any corrections or omissions?
Where are you talking about?
Number
Number
one, the
one.
word called.
Oh, called to order?
Oh.
It should be called to order.
Yep.
That's an easy fix.
Yeah.
I move that we accept the
Oh,
minutes.
I do have one more. Number 4, Lynde, Lynde.
Oh,
Well, Joey.
it's Lind Well Drilling?
Lynde, Lynde.
And I move to accept the minutes with those 2 corrections.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, next, the select board to review and approve the select board orders. Number 5, public concerns. You're on.
My name is Dan Kilburn. I own the property up in Rawsonville that has the garden center, my sister's garden center. It's the place that burned here 4 or 5 years ago when we rebuilt. I border the cemetery in Rawsonville there. And this gentleman over here made some copies of my deed, so when you get a chance, you can read that. I believe if you read that deed, I did pencil, underline the 15 feet and the 238 feet, which if I've got it right, and I may be wrong, but if I have it right, that section is the part that's the fence line between me and the cemetery. On your side of the fence, I'll say, is a 15-foot right-of-way that goes down along the edge of the cemetery, and it actually continues on and goes around my neighbor's house back out to Route 130. Right. It starts on Goodyvale Road, but it ends up out on 130. What I would like to know is, and I don't, as I said to him earlier, I don't know who owns the fence. The fence has been there since I bought the place 30 years ago. I don't know whether the town did it or previous owners did it, couldn't tell you. The fence doesn't start until you get just past the culvert. And at some point, if you folks can go up there, and it may be a minute because of the snow, obviously, but my desire, if I can have it, is I would like to be able to take a section of fence down before you actually get out into the cemetery to make access into my backyard, is my goal here, I'll say.
Is that where the greenhouses are, right?
Behind the
Just
greenhouses
behind the
there, yes.
greenhouses.
Yep,
Okay.
exactly.
Because the fence doesn't start till you get actually to the cemetery, isn't it right? More where the
Well, it
first stones
starts,
are a little
when you
bit?
start to drive in that entrance to the cemetery, you're
Yeah.
probably in 100 feet, I'll say.
Okay.
And there's a culvert that goes underneath the road from my side over to the other side. From the other side of that culvert is where the fence starts. And then goes the rest of the way down that property line all the way to the other owners, I'll say, and then it stops. I want to take between 2 posts, enough space so, like I said, I can drive a truck in there, for instance. I just want access to my backyard. And I didn't want to just cut the fence down, because like I say, I don't know whether it's yours or whether it's mine, to be honest with you. He had a good idea earlier when he and I were talking before the meeting. I mean, I don't know if it's cast in stone, but somebody like Bruce Chapin may have been around long enough, and he may be able to answer that question, whose fence it is. I really, like I say, I really don't know. But that's the nut of it, I'll say.
Okay, we can research that a little bit.
And he's got copies of these, you have copies of these.
Yep, keep that around, yep.
Certainly, and it's not something I need or want to do tomorrow anyway, kind of deal.
You don't? I
No.
want to go get flowers, come on.
No, yeah, well, they're coming, a couple weeks, I got stuff to be in the greenhouse, Maisie will be busy.
Oh, good, I love going there.
Yeah, no, we're probably less than 2 weeks out right now, so.
What is your phone number, Dan?
Best way to get me is probably my cell phone, 802-375-3625.
Okay.
And certainly if you either want to make a site visit or whatever, call me. I'll certainly make myself available to go up so we can
Yeah, 'cause
see.
Nelson had called me, I think it was Nelson. Did you
Yep.
talk to Nelson?
Nelson and I had gone down and same deal. He and I had talked about it. His only concern was he didn't want a piece of fence taken down out in where it opens up into the cemetery.
Cemetery, right.
He wanted to stay back into that roadway.
Right, that's what you want to do.
And I'm perfectly all right with that. There is, when you get up there, you'll see there's a little shed, a couple of big old pines. I'll happily sacrifice the sled and the pines to have my way in and stay out of the cemetery to do it.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
he didn't think there was a problem with it. Anyway, he explained to me, because he takes care of that cemetery.
Yeah, no, he's familiar with it.
Yeah.
obviously, been there.
I have
I'm
a
sorry, go
question.
ahead.
Do you know whether you're in the floodplain?
I have no idea. But I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna say no to that, because I'm pretty sure my insurance company would have picked up on that. And I'd be having to have flood insurance to accommodate that if that were the case. So I'm gonna say no, but you may wanna go look at the flood map, 100-year flood maps. But I don't believe so.
Because that can be complicating.
If it turned out that it looks like a fence is a good idea, would you be interested in cutting that fence out and then putting like an opening or like a gate? Would that be something that might?
So people
Yeah,
would,
If it turned out the fence
Yes.
ended up being a good thing for that location.
Yeah,
because you probably don't want people to be turning around.
Well, no, this is really, well, I suppose you're right, somebody going to a funeral or something could end up in there and take the wrong turn, I
Turn or
guess.
something, but
That's
where they buy the flowers.
I wouldn't be closed-minded to it, let me put it that way.
Okay.
It's not like I'm gonna access it 20 times a day or anything, so, yeah, would be the answer.
it's just easier for you to get to your garden.
To get to the backyard, just some of the stuff I can go down over the bank now. I mean, to give you a little history real quick, there is a culvert goes under the road. You'll see the culvert that comes across my yard to give me a space behind the building. It's kind of steep, but years and years ago, and Bruce could speak to this because I know he was on the board. We had many discussions about it. There's a gentleman that owns, last name is Engelhardt, I believe, owns the land that's on the other side of the cemetery, be the next neighbor down, I'll say, on Goodyvale Road. He carried on and had some issues with that pond. He has a pond on his property back there. Years ago, he convinced the town that the level of the culvert wasn't right. And he was successful. I see your grin, but I wasn't thrilled because what their resolution to it was, they raised the culvert, which made me a really nice mosquito pond that used to drain. So now I guess it's my responsibility to either fill that in so I don't have a mosquito pond, or live with it, as they say. That culvert was put in, I want to say about 20 years ago now, maybe 15. I might be a little far out on that. I don't intend on burying that. My alternative, just so you know, I'll right up front and out loud, is my alternative is, if you guys don't want this to happen, you don't want me to cut the fence, I'm gonna build a road next to your road on the other side of the fence. And then I'll put a culvert in. It's just a lot more expense to me to get
We'd
my
like to make it as easy for you.
goal to get to the backyard kind of deal, if you know what I mean. But, and that's why I said I'd come try this first and see. And like I said, I really don't know whose fence it is. I'm gonna almost guess maybe the town's, because there is a gate at the other end. And I can't envision a property owner, whoever owned it before me, which was D. Ferrari, before him, I don't remember, Jones, I think, there was a lady named Jones on it. But in any event, I can't envision them putting a fence in and then putting a gate at the end that really gates off the cemetery, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna guess it's probably the towns or the cemeteries, whatever you wanna say, not the property owners.
Okay.
But I don't know that for a fact.
We'll look into it a little further and get back to you before winter ends. How's that?
Fair enough.
Is that fair enough? Because the
Yes.
snow's gonna be there for a few minutes anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to move some here, I got some trucks coming.
Okay.
Other than that, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So we will get back to you, we'll check it out and do a little further research for you and try to make your life a lot easier.
Thank you. I
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
Thank
And
you.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for coming.
No problem.
Okay,
Thanks.
Good night.
I would like to, I put at number 6 was any other business that comes before the board. I didn't get a chance to go through the agenda material, so now I would like your permission to go through the agenda material as I go through it. Is that all right?
Sure.
Do you want to know each one separately now, or just go through them?
Go through it.
Okay. This is just our copy of The permit that we have for the well, it's been recorded, and this is our copy, and I think we talked about it at the last meeting that we had that, so I will put that in the town hall well box for us. Next on the agenda, we have liquor license renewal applications from D&K store, and D&K's Jamaica Grocery, and also 2015 tobacco license renewal application. What is your pleasure? We have their copy of their license.
Is that a class 1 or a class 2, or how does that?
They're class 2.
Class 2?
Class 2 is for,
Beer
yes, because
and
they don't
wine.
sell,
Beer
they
and
just sell
wine.
beer and wine. Right. And they have paid their fees too.
I would certainly move that we accept that they have been responsible purveyors of the substances.
Okay, and we just need to sign it.
I'll second it.
Okay, any further discussion?
I don't think anybody's ever complained, have they?
No,
No.
I've never had any complaints.
And I have seen them enforce that.
They do.
Yeah, some kid went out, bought some, claimed he didn't do it for his buddies. She saw him passing it around the car. So she's aggressive in trying to
Yeah,
maintain
no,
her.
they're very good about
Yeah.
it.
Madam Kathy?
Yeah.
It needs our signature. Okay. Did we finish the motion on that one? We did, okay.
I made a motion.
I think we voted. Did we
I
vote on it?
seconded it.
Did we vote?
No.
Oh,
We
any
didn't vote.
further discussion? That's where we at.
That, we're discussing.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next, we have Overweight permit from David Shaves Excavating, Londonderry, Vermont. What is your pleasure? And the restrictions were to, I'll get this eventually, just on class 1 and 2
2
and 3. Okay.
What is what exactly is he looking to get on those roads?
Dump trucks and tractor trailers.
Okay, this is standard stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, nothing exciting.
Nothing exciting, no. Okay.
Does he has excavators though?
Right, his dump trucks will be pulling excavators
2
probably
and
behind.
3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Class 2 and 3 roads only.
Mhm. And the usual restrictions, including class 2 and 3.
Correct.
Yep.
Yep, and that's what we have there. the
Yes.
Instructions, okay? Do we have a motion for this? To approve?
I will recommend we approve it. Move we approve it.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, approve it with the road commissioner's signature. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye. Is there someplace we as a group sign this or just you?
It's on the back, is that the liquor license?
Yes.
Yes, you look on the back and there's, no, the back of each white paper.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And we can sign it later, you can
Yeah,
just pass it
yeah.
down, and then Lou can sign it, pass it back up. From the state of Vermont, Department of Environmental Conservation, we received a notice from them regarding project WW20501-4 parcel Jamaica 0-3 Jamaica State Park utility improvements. This project shall consist of improvements to the park wastewater system to replace dry wells serving toilet buildings 1, 2, and 3. The new system will consist of an in-ground dosed leach field to be located in an open area east of the camping access roads located on 285 Salmon Hole Lane, Jamaica, Vermont. This is just notification that they asked for the permission, asked for a permit from the state.
Right.
Now, he called and talked to me, and I suggested he submit for a
Who called you?
a gentleman from the state whose name is upstairs.
Evans?
Representative for
Ethan?
the
Ethan
facilities.
Phelps? Is it Ethan?
Doesn't ring a bell. Somebody who's in a state program that manages facilities for state facilities.
Okay.
And he's talking about how much weight could go across the bridge. And I explained that the bridge is 16,000 pounds. And they've got heavy equipment that's got to go back and forth because they're going to be hauling septic pieces and stuff like that. So I told him to submit for a
Overweight permit?
overweight permit and would take a look at it when that comes through.
Okay, right
'Cause
now, this is just for a permit to do
Yeah,
that.
this is the heads up that but he had the good sense to call. And
Yeah,
so I
they're
said,
pretty good about it.
yeah, we're gonna, and he's of the state, they understand
Yeah.
it. I told him it was timber deck and what we're gonna be doing with it, so it's reasonable.
Okay, and then we received back our, signed by the Agency of Transportation, they approved our certificate of highway mileage, year ending February 10th, 2015. I do have the minutes of the town meeting. They're quite lengthy to read and take some time. I'd like to put a hold on those, and I'll make copies for everybody, and then we
Yes.
can approve them at the next meeting.
That would be good, because I tried to copy it today, and I couldn't get it into
Okay, so
regular
I'll make
size
copies for
paper.
everybody before we leave, and then we can do
Carry
that, so we
Yeah.
will.
I emailed you all something I saw in there for a change,
Oh, you did? Okay, well,
and the clerk, so.
There are.
I would have a chance to read them.
Yeah.
okay, I didn't have a chance to.
Well, I looked them over, and there are some significant things we're gonna have to change.
Okay,
So
so
be aware of
I'd
that.
like all of us to take time,
What?
take a
Yeah.
There are some significant things on the,
Oh,
that
sure,
need
to read.
to be adjusted.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
As opposed to just little spelling errors or some
Do you have anything,
substance.
Lou?
Just a couple of informative things in the district. Some very exciting things are happening. I think I've mentioned to you in the past that we were working on solar on the landfill. We had a bunch of interviews, and we pretty much whittled it down to 2 companies. We're going to choose that company on Thursday. And the interesting thing is some of these proposals are very exciting. Looks like both of them will have a lease that will be somewhere around $100,000 range to the district, which of course means that we have less to assess the towns, which is a good thing. And we should be able to save either 20 or 27% of our electric bills, beginning about a year or maybe a year or 2 months from now. Kind of interesting. We have another company who has taken over the lease for carbon harvest, and it wants to put an anaerobic digester, which is for composting food, and that's a kind of exciting thing that may be coming down the pike real soon. So we get some interesting things going on at the district that I want to keep you informed of. As you know, Act 148 is
Right around the corner.
right around the corner. One of the things we're going to be voting on this week is our ordinance for the district each town is responsible for an ordinance, and the district has taken on that for all the towns collectively. So what it will help us with is how we're going to operate our transfer station, especially for caretakers. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judy?
Actually, he just talked about some of the things I had questions about, which was, one is the ordinance and reading the material. We are supposed to write our own ordinance about solid waste. We have one already, and what you're telling, and I thought that was it, that you guys were going to write a prototype for us.
Well, actually, we're writing an ordinance that will be district-wide.
Okay.
And then the
But
towns,
each town's supposed to have one too.
well, the towns have to have one.
Yeah.
This covers that responsibility. The towns can always go beyond what the district does.
Right.
Okay.
So you have the option, Jamaica has the option.
Yeah.
And I would suggest that after the district one is passed, that we look at our transfer station ordinance and make sure it's compatible.
Okay, the other question I had was, on Tuesday, we were supposed to have, can't think of the right word right now, applications for the haulers and possibly caretakers. They weren't there.
That'll be, well, that's because, if you remember, I told you that the caretakers had asked Oliver
Right.
to go, to give an exemption to them. So he did indeed go to the state for that. So we delayed our motion, our ordinance and our license application until after
Okay.
that, so that we could be current with state law.
Okay.
So that's what
But I knew that we had to have them have an application for the district, the caretakers, not not for the state.
That's correct.
Haulers have to have it for the state and the district, okay?
No, oh, right. Hauler's not here.
Yes. Okay. Interesting, I thought it was, some of the dialogue that went on at town meeting, and some, I thought, very good questions were asked, and things that we really have to be concerned about. One of the questions that I got was, who, if garbage is dumped on the side of the road, who is the one who is in charge of picking that up? And of course, my hunch is going to be that it's going to be the road crew.
If it's on town roads, but if it's on the state road, it'd be the
Yeah, the
state
state
highway.
would pick it up, okay.
Mhm.
Then the next question was, does that material that is picked up from somebody dumping it, does it have to be put into the bags? And if so, who pays for that? So I think these are some of the things that we have to begin to look at. And then we also, it came up that I thought was really good was that we probably, I think we must, not probably, have some kind of a policy for people who cannot afford the bags. And I have a dialogue going with Elaine Beckwith around that, because I think she's the appropriate one to be dealing with that situation, since she knows people who are on
The
that.
only thing I'm afraid of with that, it's my own personal opinion, but I'll give it anyway, the people who don't want to pay for bags, they're not going to care what they put in those bags. We're not going to encourage them to recycle. How are we going to know that they really can't afford the bags? That makes it hard. I mean, I know people go to the food pantry, but I mean, I don't know who they are, and I don't care if people need food, but I know people tend to gravitate to, if anything's free, it's for me. I've heard that before, I've seen it a lot. If somebody wants to be so kind and buy 100 bags and donate them to the food pantry and say, okay, you know, give them out like they do the food, I would agree to that. But I think we're just going to open up a can of worms, and we're going to have every Tom, Dick, and Harry wanting free bags.
I
don't know,
have a feeling
I could
that
be
that's
wrong.
not going to be the case. First of all, what we were talking about today was that Stratton has already donated some money for getting bags, and Elaine is thinking of going to Wardsboro and also Winhall. Well, I guess, is it Winhall?
What would be the criteria
And-
for it, though?
Huh?
What would be the criteria for
Well, I
having
think,
somebody,
I think that what, we're jumping the gun with our
Right, right.
questions. I think
but we have to be prepared
we need
for
to,
it?
she's going to write a proposal and bring it before the board. And then we can really look at it and decide what we're going to be doing,
Go ahead, Lou.
if anything.
Yeah, my biggest concern is to make sure that something like this, as Lex mentioned, doesn't make them feel like they don't have to recycle. So I guess I might be in favor of something like that if there was some kind of recycling education or something like that, to let them know that, you know, what recycling is all about, maybe some help on how they can recycle, because the purpose of this law is to motivate people to recycle. And the moment you take that motivation away from them, then, you know, their desire may be just altruistic or whatever. So that's my biggest concern.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit, so I don't really want to jump the gun.
Right.
And because she has some ideas, let's see what she presents to
Okay,
us.
and then take it from there.
And then take it from there before we make
Okay.
any really strong
Yeah.
decisions.
Just, I can't resist. I heard the Brattleboro Select Board comment, hashing this around a while back. And one of the board members said, it may not come back on the town at all. They said that there are organizations around for people who are truly in need of help with disposing of their garbage, or recycling, or whatever we're calling it now. That those entities, which are there for other things, would probably step forward and help with that. And he didn't articulate what those were, but so it wouldn't necessarily come back on us in any.
Yeah, the challenge is administering it. Because
Right.
then you have to come up with some criteria.
That's what he was getting to,
Right.
that there were people that would
And
already
that's
know
why
how to
I think
handle that.
the food shelf is in the best place in order to figure that out.
And it doesn't have to be a free bag. I mean, it could be just cost support instead of $2
Yes.
a dollar.
Yeah.
There's variations on that same
Yeah.
theme of helping people without giving them the
Exactly.
entire thing.
I mean, because you could go to the store and say,
Sure.
can't afford a bag.
No, it's gotta be managed carefully.
It's gotta be managed, that's
Actually,
the
one thing you
problem.
could do is say, we'll give you one free bag a week. If it takes more than one bag, that's on your nickel.
Well, there's variations for those
Because,
organizations to do that, and I think Judy's on the right path. Let's see what they come up with for a plan. And then we
We're projecting.
Yeah, we're looking at things, so they may come up with something we hadn't thought of. Maybe they've got some good ideas.
Yeah.
That's what it sounded like
Yeah.
already.
And the other thing too is we're gonna end up modifying it half a dozen times in the next 12 months anyway, as we
Yeah.
discover things we didn't anticipate.
Yeah, that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are some of the things that were coming up at the meeting, and also people talking to me. The well, I picked up an easement this afternoon.
Judy,
Okay, and we're still working on getting another easement in, and that sounds like that's going to be happening. So, I also found out about, Joe Grennis wrote me an email saying that there is another grant source out where he has gotten grants for Vermont Arts Council. And one of the criteria was bathrooms and accessibility and that kind of thing. So we may fit into that, and I'm going to kind of pursue that and see if we can, because as we are aware of, this is getting bigger and bigger. It's like a snowball going down a hill. It's getting bigger the more it's going to cost to have a tracked vehicle go up and all sorts of stuff. So that's all I have.
okay.
I want to say that you did a nice job last Tuesday.
She did, yes, you did a wonderful job.
Thank
You
you.
kept it under control.
I think we may have to come up with another appointment. We have to define something just to stick Judy in it
Oh,
Just to stick Judy in it.
for
There's a
appointment.
moderator job opening up next year.
Yeah, there's that, yeah.
Is that all, Judy?
yes.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
The only thing I have is referring to the conversation that took place at the town meeting. And some subsequent, there was mention from the floor, a concern that this isn't so much the road commissioners as just all of us, that we haven't been able to manage the sidewalks this year. And that the equipment we have is underpowered or too small, and that we need to consider doing something a little bit more dramatic. And I think we got to think about it, but there's lots of options about, hiring somebody to do it versus getting heavier equipment. There's manpower issues, there's equipment issues, there's storage issues. There's a lot of pieces that have to come together to make that work. But I do want to recognize that was brought up.
Well, I was going to bring that up.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's
So,
okay, you did a good job. You did.
Just the idea that we think about it, but there's a lot of things.
It's just hard. When we
It's very
had
difficult.
Amos Brown doing it, he was on top of it. And he really did a good job. Mark did a good job until the ice came, and then this transfer station job came. So it kind of,
This was a bad year.
it didn't work out for us this year. Plus, we are not, I don't know what the right word is, compelled or not compelled. We do not have to do the sidewalks in town. The only sidewalks we really have to plow are the new ones that are
Yeah, that's
federal.
right.
That's basically it. We did it as a courtesy. to all the business owners. We have some business owners, D&K's,
Yeah.
Julie Lowe, they always took care of in front of their homes or businesses, which was greatly appreciated by the people. We'll try again next year to see what happens.
Well, that sort of brings me to the second piece of what I'm talking about. One of the other choices, besides hiring people and equipment, is to have an ordinance, I know that's a bad word, but have the property owners responsible for clearing their own sidewalks. That's not like that's unheard of in the 21st century.
No,
And a lot of our property owners already do.
right.
And so if the property owners, if there's consequence, perhaps just to remind them that they have that as a responsibility, but perhaps we need to formalize it.
Yeah, we'll have to,
And I think that as far as a budgeting issue is concerned, it seems to me,
those tractors are very expensive.
well, they are. My mind is just a quick glimpse of it. It's financially or fiduciarily more reasonable for us to expect or to ask our citizens to take care of the property, their own property, than to go out and spend $15,000 or $20,000 for equipment and hired people and workers' comp and all the other things that go along with
It's
that.
gonna be expensive.
So there may be a line for the next
Plus, the bigger
town.
tractors don't work on the small.
Exactly, there's lots of issues.
sidewalks.
The simplest thing was simply say, citizens, it's your property, take care of it. And that would require an ordinance and maybe some other kinds of things that we don't necessarily like to do. So if it could be done casually, as most of the people took care of it, wouldn't be a problem. But there are some particular stretches that were difficult. So that's kind of the thinking.
Right.
And my thoughts was,
Yeah, we can continue this conversation.
I think so.
Up until next
And
winter.
solicit
Hopefully-
input from the audience.
Agreement.
We don't have any audience.
Well, bring an audience.
we do.
I'm looking right at you,
I'd be
audience.
surprised.
There are some parts of the site that don't actually belong to people, like, for example, in front of the cemetery,
Yeah.
that has to be done.
Yeah.
In front of, like, at the island, that's town property, that's
Yeah.
not, so there are stretches of that sidewalk that are not governed by property owners.
Right, so we do, and I don't mind taking care of the sidewalks, but this year was just a,
It was
just a bad, it
that
just,
one storm.
One's freaking
That
storm.
one storm, he would have had to been out there every hour, every
Yeah.
time the plow went by. And that one storm screwed up every using the
Yeah.
Is it frozen?
snowblower again that year, or we wouldn't,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not
it would
anybody's.
have been able to get done.
And the
It would have got
Yeah,
done.
it wasn't anybody's fault, it
No.
was just the weather.
And
It
the
was that
rain,
one storm. It was
Yeah.
like a
One
freak
storm.
thing.
Yeah.
Well, it was a couple of storms. One was that storm, and then it was the storm of him having to go help
Those
out.
storms, those storms are long gone, so let's
Right.
continue.
Anyway,
Okay, anything else, Paul?
no thanks.
Okay, Andy?
Yes, at the town meeting, one person had a concern about Mr. Raymond's building
The
across
two-story
the
property?
street.
Mhm.
So, without getting into speculating about, there's nothing clear about what to do in here. I need to call the regional office after I ask the board, do you want me to proceed into looking in to see if that's a health hazard? My guess is it
I
is.
think you should.
Yeah, I wonder if it's worth a call to Mr. Raymond and see.
Well, I managed to get all of his contact information, an address, his liaisons numbers. So after I talked to the regional office in Springfield, see what kind of direction they give me, because I don't think I should go walking around looking, that's trespassing.
Well, it seems to me it's always better to try to
Yes,
approach people friendly first.
Right, if you go to the board first, find out what your options are, and then go to tell him.
after I,
Right.
yes. So that's it. That's all I'm really
No,
gonna say about
I think we
it.
should give permission for,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
please, go.
Well, I think we have a responsibility, now that it has been brought to our attention by the
Right.
population,
Well, it's-
for us to neglect it could give us some difficulties.
Right,
I
but it is private property too, so we want to make sure that,
Exactly,
if it was your property and you wanted to leave it that way,
Yeah, no, I hear you, it's,
it's.
There are some, without, guessing, but what I did get to read online, there are a few avenues that may involve the fire chief, the fire marshal. I just want to see what Springfield says first.
good idea.
And then I'll
That's-
just keep you up on it.
Thank you.
And
Thanks.
then you've got the information, what's open, what isn't open there, and, what the building looks like and stuff like that.
I kind of do. I've never been inside there, but they'll tell me what I need to do.
I have,
If I were you, I wouldn't go in there.
No,
it's not that bad.
I'd be the
Take the
one.
photos from the
I'd
outside.
be the one coming out when the sheriff's sitting there.
He and I went in there once. Oh, well. Do you have anything else, Andy?
I don't think so.
Okay, I just have a couple little things here. We received information from Efficiency Vermont. That's when we did our streetlights and stuff. They're looking to see if we have any other things that we want. I can't think of anything right now. Can you? If you
Can't
can,
think of
let me
anything.
know and I can.
Do we know what that ended up like saving on an annual basis?
I'd have to do a report. I honestly don't know. I would say
It was substantial though.
it was substantial.
Well, it was predicted to be substantial.
Right.
What is
I'd
actually?
rather have the right numbers and say
Okay, I was just curious if it wasn't.
Shouldn't be hard, we should just go back into some previous years.
Yes, that's what I'll do. I can do
Yeah.
that and check that out for you. Yep. Okay, so we can do the two,
And that one by the school has been burning nonstop, so.
Oh,
the one by
The
my
one
house
they
is
kept
burned
poking out, the
out.
kids kept breaking.
oh, really?
I'm
And
using that one a little more.
then we have, from the Wyndham Regional Commission, Planning Commission chairs for towns, abutting town of Stratton. They sent to Dover, Jamaica, Somerset, Wordsworth, Wind Hall. WRC is reviewing WRC review and approval consideration and confirmation of Stratton Town Plan at the upcoming public hearing at the Stratton Town Office, which is Monday, March 9th. That's today.
Yes.
I guess we missed it.
There you go.
We don't have to go to it, they have to notify us as abutting landowners. So there's that. I will get back on that one. There are some, I'll pass these around, some spring workshops and stuff for us, and I'll pass that around. I don't believe we have any property inspectors in our area that I can think of, and this was just sent to us, giving them information about property inspectors, but we don't have any, we don't hire them, so that's kind of a...
Do our listers do any inspections?
No, this is not, no, not those kind of inspections. I believe these are home inspections.
Oh.
If somebody's gonna buy a house, you
Oh,
want to
oh, I
see
got
the
you, okay.
plumbing is right, the electrician, you
Gotcha.
know, it's one of those kind of inspectors, and we don't have that. And that's all I have, but I would like to make a motion that we go into executive session for a personnel issue.
I so move. Second, whatever's needed.
I'll second it, you. Is there anything else that we need to talk about in public?
No, there's nothing else, we won't come back with a decision on anything.